Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. Today I'm going to be giving you part 27 of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Raised by the Hyuga clan and enjoy that guys. And later on, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was Born in the Uzumaki clan. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? So let's begin the intro. So the last time we left off, Pain was talking to the rest of the Akatsuki members as he was going to declare war on the other nations. He was going to crush them all by uniting the smaller nations. After the meeting was over, Kisame was called by Tobe, seeing that Kisame knew his true identity, as he told him that he must go and capture the Nadabi at Konoha. They would perform a distraction with his Zetsus. As the time went by, Naruto, Yujito and Yujeo and the others, they were still at Kumo. As they found Samui, she was still alive. Even though she was in a bad condition, the medics took care of her. The numbers of people they found was in the 2,000. But that was really low considering that Kumo had the highest population. So yeah, that was bad. Really bad, especially when it came to civilians. A lot of them died. At Konoha, people started to go missing as it started to grow until the numbers went into the 1,000. It was then that White Zetsu started to attack, as Udon was being impersonated as Sakura had to cut him down as he turned to a white creature. It was then that Konon's eyes went wide as she tells Nadi, Fu, as the group was sent to protect Fu. Fu was with the two Aburame members as the both of them were cut down by Kisame, but Kakashi, Konon and Sakura came to her defense. As they started to battle off against Kisame, Kisame created a huge water bubble as he fused with Samehata, as Konon was rushing towards the other side, as Kisame went straight after Kakashi, so she fell out of the bubble. As Konon was asked by Sakura to give her a flight. Releasing Sakura, Sakura thrust her fist out and the entire thing exploded. As Sakura told Konon that she handed over food towards Nadia and Shizune. Once that was over, Kisame then came to a stop as a white Zetsu came out of the ground and told that the mission was successful. And with that they left, vanished into a burst of water. As the trio was confused by that the mission was successful, the group then came back to the office as there was at least 2,000 dead civilians who were taken by the white Zetsus. A lot of burials will have to happen. The village was in a frantic state after that, but they managed to crush all the white Zetsu that interfere. Back at Kumo, Samui came too, as Yujito told her what happened, as she started to cry. As Naruto and Koyuki left the tent, as the both of them in there tried to console each other. Going outside, Naruto looked at all the destruction, all the pain, as he could only clench his fist as Izumo then came and gave Naruto a note. As Naruto read over it as a grim look came on his face. Meanwhile, Pain has gathered the smaller villages, including Shibuki was there as well, for Take, as he wanted their help for them all to rally up against the Great Five Nations, well for now that he completely wiped out Kumo, as he told them he was the one that wiped out Kumo. The masked man then also appeared as he told Sasuke everything about the true meaning behind the Uchiha massacre, as a vengeance, rageful look came in Sasuke's eyes, as he took the masked man's hand as he warped him out of there. So yeah guys, that was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? I must warn Konoha about this. After hearing Pain's speech, Shibuki traveled to his hotel. That is where all the foreign shinobis were staying. He ignored them as they all spoke in tones of hushed excitement. All of these people were fooled, as they wanted the power that the 5 nations, well the 4, has to offer. Knowing that Pain and they were going to destroy them all, they wanted power, prestige, and be on top as well. But these people were stupid, and Shibuki didn't see that they understood that. Pain didn't care a damn about them. He just wanted to use them as pawns right now. He has a bigger goal in mind and Shibuki could tell. Enter his room, Shibuki packed all of his belongings. Are we leaving so soon? Yoro asks, as he brought 2 ninjas with him. He was a tall man, Yoro, and one of Shibuki's village stronger jonins. Would it not draw suspicion for us to leave early like this, said Yoro. It might, said Shibuki, but if we don't leave now and inform Konoha about what is going on, we might never get another chance. Should we really inform Konoha about this though? Asked the other jonin that he brought. Wouldn't it be better if we didn't inform them? Shibuki turned towards Kigon, as the man's face was blank. He didn't get angry, but consider Kigon's words for what they were. What do you think will happen if we went to war with the 5 great nations? You mean 4 great nations, Kigon pointed out. Kumo was destroyed. Our spies have confirmed that. Very well. What do you think will happen if we go to war with the 4 great nations? Asked Shibuki. Well, I imagine that many of us will end up being destroyed in the fights, Kigon said. Also, it will be worse for us seeing that Konoha has our Jinchuriki right now. And they also have Naruto Namikaze and Tsunade Senju. That is right, even if I agree with Pain, which I don't, our village would suffer terribly. Besides, this man calling himself Pain, he's a member of the Akatsuki. Not only did Akatsuki attack our village and try to take Fu, they had also recruited Kakazu, the most vile, missing ninja from our village. Kigon and Yoro stiffened their name. Kakazu was one of their village's greatest failings, as Shinobu held so much promise, but he fell to the dark side. Neither of them argued with him after that, as they waited for nightfall to leave, as they went off in the darkness. As the rain was pouring down on them, seeing that they were in the hidden rain, as the large towers were there surrounding them everywhere. As they reached the halfway point, Shibuki's danger senses went off as he had to jump away. Kigon did as well, but Yori wasn't so lucky, as his head was smashed in by something that dropped from the sky. The first thing they saw was the eyes. As they saw 4 sets of eyes, 2 figures. Damn it, who are these 2? Said Shibuki, as Shibuki started to run through hand signs, forming his signature technique. But he was not able to cast that, as the last thing he heard was Universal Pull. Time skip, Naruto, Yujito, Koyoke, and the remaining survivors of Kumo need to track across the elemental nations. They would have taken Koyoke airships, but they didn't brought enough and there was a lot of injured people, so all the injured people were placed on the airships while the rest of them walked on foot to Konoha. They did not have any carriage to carry anyone, so they had to walk on foot, as Naruto cursed his lack of foresight. The rescue operation was just thrown together, so they didn't think to bring any other modes of transportation with them either. Out of the 2,365 survivors, 1,300 had been gravely injured as they were all placed on the airships, while the others had to track across the elemental nation. Sadly, even if they weren't wounded that bad, that didn't make the journey easy. Kumo had some bad terrains, mountain peaks, dark forests with dangerous animals, as I had to make sure that everything was safe before treading through the darkness. Are you sure walking to Konoha with us was a good idea, Koyoke? Asked Yujito, as she and Naruto helped Koyoke descend down the mountain. I wanted to be with you, said Koyoke. Are you saying that I should have went on the airship? Since Naruto was the one leading everyone to Konoha, he was at the head of the pack. Make sure everything was safe before they went off. Yujito and Samui were with him, seeing that they knew the terrain far better than he did, so they could see unstable paths. The big surprise was Koyoke, who insisted on coming and demanded that she stay with him, Yujito and Samui. Well, no, said Yujito, answering a question. But it would have been safer if you went on the airship. Also, your clothes are not really fit for long walking distance. Yeah, Yujito was right, as Koyoke's blue kimono went straight down to her feet. Yes, said Koyoke as she looked down, I suppose you're right. This is a bit too extravagant to walk on foot. A bit, thought Naruto and Yujito. The clothes went all the way down to her ankles. The chances of her tripping were beyond high. In that case, said Koyoke, as a loud ripping sound could be heard "What are you doing?" said Yujito. "Why are you stripping now?" Naruto said, as she pointed down as she was wearing black shorts that covered her well, and she had a white shirt under it as well. "Aren't you cold in that?" asked Samui. "Kumo isn't the warmest nation, you know." "Now that you mention that, I do feel a bit chilly," said Koyuki, as Naruto and Yujito face palm. After a while, the group came to a stop. They were lucky that Naruto was a master of Shadow Clone Jutsu, as he was able to catch enough fish for everyone. Naruto heard what happened in Konoha, as he knew that despite himself not being there, the situation could not be outdone by brute strength, but Konoha did take heavy damage. But at least the people were safe. But he knew that a lot of people lost their life. But despite being who he is and having the higher Shin, he still could not do everything on his own. He then felt something bump him on his shoulder, as he looked over at Koyuki, thinking heavy thoughts. She asked, "Well, I'm just thinking how many bad things happen in such a short period of time," he said. As he looked up, "There's a lot going on and I feel a little helpless. I'm guessing all of this stuff is happening. It's making me realize how small I am in the grand scheme of things." Koyuki snorted. "What's up with you and all this moping?" she said. "Where is the ninja who kept on proclaiming that he would become Hokage every chance he got, who said that he will never fail no matter what?" "Oh, he's still here," Naruto said. "I'm going to become Hokage. I just know my limits, that's all." "It's that so?" "That doesn't sound like you at all," said Koyuki. "Aren't you the man that don't know the word limit? I could have sworn you were the kind of person who broke every limit placed on him." "She has a point, Kyuubi," said Naruto. "It's been a while." "Well, I don't take it as a habit to speak to earless apes," said Kyuubi. "Charming as ever," said Naruto. "So what were you saying about your point?" "Just that you were always the type overconfident to the point of being stupid. Never shutting up on what's my name and how to become Hokage, and that you are going to accomplish it. The only reason I told you my name is because you got on my nerve. Sometimes you're just really annoying." "Hey, are you trying to cheer me up or put me down there to ask?" "I am just saying that Naruto will always believe in his dream and never care about limits and never mope. He's a lot better than you right now." Thinking about things, Naruto knew that Kurama was right. Recently he has been feeling powerless, helpless. As confident as he was, as strong as he acted, he could not stay that way all the time. But he needed to be strong for the people here. "You're right. Thanks, Kurama," he said. "What did I tell you about calling my name?" said Kurama. "You never said I couldn't use it," said Naruto. Kurama went quiet as he realized he didn't say that, as Naruto simply chuckled. "Naruto," said Koyuki. Naruto grinned. "It's nothing," he said. "I was just thinking that you were right. I've been too mopey lately. I can't do anything if I'm depressed like this." He grabbed one of the fish and started to eat. "Damn it," he said. "Why didn't I think of bringing any ramen in school? I mean, to think of it now, I haven't had ramen in a long while. Days? Weeks? Months? It felt like ages since he last had ramen. Not only that, he hasn't even think about ramen because of what is going on lately." As he started to shake his head back and front, as he was mumbling ramen, as Samui leaned over and whispered to Yujito's ear, "I think your boyfriend is having a mental breakdown." "Just ignore him," said Yujito. "He get like that sometime." As she grabbed 2 sticks of fish, "Here, eat up, regain your strength." As Samui took the fish, the first bite she took, scream could be heard. As Naruto and the others got up, another scream could be heard. "Koyuki," Naruto said, "I need you and Samui to stick with us. Don't leave our side for a second." "Okay," she said, as she, Samui, and Yujito stood up as she rushed towards the screams. When they arrived, they find several dozen frost ninjas wreaking havoc on the civilians. They leapt into the civilian crowd, slashing throats, stabbing people. As some of them went through hands and released fires from their mouth, incinerating the people where they stood. People just lost their home, got burned alive. Naruto's body leapt into action. Pushing himself off the ground, he landed in front of a grey-haired man who was firing flames. As Naruto drive a Rasengan right under the man's chin, knocking his head upwards and exploded into blood and gore. Who the hell is this?" one of them asked, as Naruto pulled out 2 kunais and added wind chakra as he started to rip hands and neck off. As Akunoichi saw Naruto coming, as she went through hand sign, Earth style. The woman stopped in mid-sentence. She noticed her hands were gone. As she stood there blankly for 5 seconds before the pain kicked in as she screamed. As Naruto drove his foot right into her skull, her head snapped back and broke as she collapsed dead. As Yujito was over to the other side, her fingernails were encased in fire as she tear right through the Frost Shinobis. "What is this woman?" one of them asked. "She's a monster," another said, as she kept on ripping through them that they were nothing but paper. As Koyuki was behind Samui with a kunai in her left hand, as Naruto created 6 clones to surround them just in case. Several ninjas were with the civilians that came from Kumo as they started to attack back, snapping necks, slicing throats. As Naruto ducked under a kunai, slipping around the person, he grabbed their head, snapped, as the body dropped down to the ground at thud. As he jumped into the crowd of Frost Shinobis, as he started to assault them, they could only watch in shock as their body was being torn to pieces. After a while, Naruto was surrounded by bodies everywhere. "Naruto-sama," Naruto turned. "Status report." "Yes, sir," a woman said. "It seems like they knew that we were coming down this way. There was many of them from other villages." "Different villages," she said. "They cut off each camp with several shinobi so we couldn't alert others, and then attack while we were distracted." The woman that he was talking to was one of Koyuki's, Snow Shinobi. "What's our casualty?" Naruto asked. "We didn't lose many shinobis. We have 10 casualties and 5 fatalities. However, we have confirmed 200 civilians' death." Naruto was pissed, but he couldn't let his anger cloud his judgment right now. "Do we know where their base is located?" Naruto asked. "Negative. We had several people try to follow them, but we lost them several kilometers out. They know this terrain too well." Naruto nodded. "Burn down all the foliage around us in a 2-kilometer radius, or create some clone to help to build a defensive position." "Yes, Naruto-sama." As the shinobi went off, Naruto had so many questions. Why were they being attacked? What the hell was going on? Time skip. Several days later, they arrived at Konoha. They hadn't been attacked from that one night, but they knew. Well, Naruto knew that they were being watched. While not much of a sensor, he had seen the shinobi tracking them, but they always fled on sight. And Naruto's mission was to get the refugees to Konoha, so he couldn't leave them alone. When he arrived, he saw the extent of damage done to Konoha. Even standing at the gates, he could see the demolished village. As buildings were destroyed, roofs collapsed, he clenched his fist in anger. "Naruto," Katetsu said. As always, he and Aizumo were guarding the gate. "Man, am I glad to see you. Though I wish circumstances were different." "You should go on ahead," Aizumo said. "Hokage wants to see you right away. Don't worry about the refugees." Several temporary buildings had been prepared in one of our training grounds while we repair Konoha. "Right," Naruto says. He turned towards Yujito, Samui, and Koyuki. "Koyuki, you should probably come with me." "Yujito, Samui, you should probably help the refugees." "You got it," Naruto said Yujito as she kissed him on the lips. As with that, they went off to the refugees as Naruto went inside with Koyuki. "Try not to blame yourself," Koyuki said, seeing the look on his face. "Nothing good will come of it." "I know," he said. When he and Koyuki arrived, several people were already in the office. Kakashi and Guy, Genma, whose arm was in a sling, Sakura, Shizune, Jiraiya, Hayashi Hyuga, and Danzo. As Naruto was surprised at Danzo's involvement in this, he didn't thought that Tsunade would let him stick around. Naruto, the other person, was Konan. She walked over, she didn't kiss him. There was a hesitant in her movements, as he guessed that it was because they weren't alone. Their relationship wasn't a secret, but given what happened, she probably didn't want to draw too much attention to herself. "I'm glad you're okay," he said, taking her hand. She smiled. "Me too. I was worried after we got words about those shinobis ambushing you." "That ambush is why we're holding this meeting," said Tsunade. Naruto and Koyuki walked further into the room. Danzo frowned as the group stopped next to Jiraiya. "Good to see you, Brat," said Jiraiya. "Nice to see you as well, Erosenin," said Naruto. As Tsunade started to speak soon after, before Jiraiya could say anything about the nickname. "We've learned through Jiraiya's spy network that Pain, aka Nagato, has created an alliance between Akatsuki and all the minor villages, and they have all declared war on the major villages." No one was really surprised by this, but attention filled the air. Like they were expecting this, but hoping that it wouldn't happen. The only one who didn't really seem bothered by this at all was Danzo, for the warmonger that he was, as Naruto thought that going to war would be happy for him, so he could annihilate Konoha's threats. "We had several plans put in place in case war broke out, but I don't think that they will help now," said Kakashi. "Considering that our enemy is Nagato, a prolonged war is the last thing that we want," said Jiraiya. Danzo tapped his cane on the floor. "Considering that you're the reason why we're in this mess in the first place, I do not believe you have any right to speak, Jiraiya-san," said Danzo. Jiraiya clenched his hand into fists, but he didn't show anything on his face. Despite being called out like this, he did not regret cheering in Nagato, Konan, and Yaiko back then. But Naruto wasn't going to be silent. If there is anyone who have no room to talk, it's you, Danzo, said Naruto. After all, it is you who teamed up with Hanzo to kill Nagato, Konan, and Yaiko. If you hadn't intervened in the Hinrain problems, then none of this would have ever happened. Danzo hand tightened on his cane. I did what I did for the safety of Konoha. And look how safe Konoha is now. We were attacked by the man that you tried to kill. It sounds like your attempt to protect the village has backfired spectacularly. Tension filled the air as Danzo glared at Naruto, but Naruto simply glared back. Everyone could feel the sparks practically flying between them. Who is to blame for our current situation is not what is important right now, said Snavy. What is important is how we deal with the situation. I have sent letters to all the remaining Kages asking for a conference together so we can deal with this situation. Given that Pain has declared war on all the major villages, this isn't something that just affects us. When is the meeting? Asked Guy. The meeting is 1 week from now in the Land of Iron, where I will travel and meet with the other Kage, said Snavy. The meeting lasts for half an hour more as they discuss who will be on bodyguard detail. As Naruto and Kakashi were the given, Jiraiya would also be going. Despite having one arm, he was still an excellent shinobi. Other than those three, it was decided that Konan, Yujito, and Guy would be traveling with Snavy. Naruto and Jiraiya would be Snavy's primary guards though, while Yujito went to talk for Kumo. And Kakashi and Guy would be backup. Naruto, if you can stay behind for a moment, Snavy said, as everyone started to leave. Konan and Koyuki looked at him, but he gave him a smile. Why don't you two go and have some fun together, he said. Yuki-chan, Konan has been feeling down recently, so I'm counting on you to show her a good time. Koyuki smiled. Leave it to me, she said, as she dragged Konan out of the office. Come on, Konan, let's go and have some fun. As the door closed behind them, leaving Naruto and Snavy alone. As Snavy pulled out a bottle of sake and grabbed 2 saucers, pouring a drink for her and Naruto. After taking a long drink, things are heading in a way that none of us could have foreseen. Things are gonna get a lot harder for everyone now. Granny, not to put a rain on your parade or anything, but did you ask me to stay so you can speak in cryptic sentences? Naruto asked. Don't be rude, brat. I called you here for a number of reasons. The first, we need to talk about Konan. Do you still not trust her? Naruto asked. It's not that, said Snavy, shaking her head. I trust her just fine. The problem is Danzo, Homura, and Koharu. Danzo is the one that I'm really worried about. I have a feeling that he will try something soon, but I don't know what. I have a feeling that he will try to assassinate her. Danzo is a patriot, said Naruto, as he swirled the sake in his saucer. If you want to kill him off before he can cause harm to Konoha, you should send him off to a suicide mission. I'm surprised to hear something like that come out of your mouth, said Snavy. Truth to be told, he was surprised he said that himself. But a lot of today's problem was because of Danzo. That man has done so many things in the past, and now they're coming back to haunt them, the entire village. I am generally not a fan of suicide missions, or sending people on them because you want them to be killed. However, for a man like Danzo, I recognize that we might not have enough choice. Maybe, said Snavy, but she was still kind of shocked that he would suggest such a thing. What else did you want to talk to me about? Asked Naruto, as he saw a serious look came on her face. We need to talk about the Kumo refugees, she said. Thanks to the recent attack on Konoha, we no longer have the means to support so many people. Are you saying that you can't support the Kumo refugees? Snavy did not answer. Naruto stood up. No, Snavy-sama, I know that we're in a tight spot, but Kumo was destroyed. These people have nowhere to go, and we were the one who instigate the rescue mission. Are you telling me that we can no longer accept them after already agreeing to it? Taking a deep breath, Snavy looked into his eyes. Her face was unwavering, stern. A face of a leader who was forced to make a difficult situation. Right now, our village don't have the means to support them. It's not a matter of fact of wanting to. It's a matter of not being able to. With all the repairs we need, and with all the money we're going to be spending, and with war on the horizon, our infrastructure can no longer support that many refugees. From a Hokage's point, if they could not support the rest of refugees and they tried, the village would break down itself. They would experience a time of drastic economic hardship. They couldn't repair the village and accept them at the same time. Then what if we only accept a few and ask water, sand, and spring to accept the rest? If we share the burden, the cost will be less, Naruto said. That is true, said Tsunade. But can you guarantee that the others will help? Of course I can, Naruto said. Gar is my best friend. And Mei and Koyuki are both with me. I'm sure if we ask them, they will all be happy to help. I'll send out the letters then, said Tsunade aside. Since this is the official request from the Hokage, I can't afford to leave it to you. I'll talk to Koyuki about it as well. Since she's currently here, Naruto said. That's fine. Is there anything else, Naruto asked? Yes, there's one more thing I want to tell you. Sasuke has gone missing from his cell. We have no idea what happened, but he went missing in the chaos. Moments later, what is it that you want, Danzo? If you call to ask for our support, we no longer have any support to give, said Koharu. As you know, the Namikaze brat has stripped us of all that. I am aware of the struggles that you two are facing right now, said Danzo. However, it's because of these struggles, I believe we need to strike soon. Konoha has become weak. The Akatsuki attack on our village proved that we no longer have the strength that we used to have. Once more, the minor villages have decided to rise up against the major villages. An alliance between all the minor villages would be a huge problem, Koharu said. There are around 40 minor countries, and each of them had their own hidden village. When you combine all that force, it was a lot. If we are going to defeat our enemies, we need to become strong, and we cannot grow under Tsunade's reign, said Danzo. I agree, said Koharu. Homura adjusted his glasses. I assume you have a plan. In 1 week, Tsunade is going to meet with the other Kages. Furthermore, she's taken several powerful ninjas along with her. That is when we're going to strike. Meanwhile, the shopping district was intact, as several stores were open. People live in ninja villages quite hardy, aren't they? Said Koyuki. It comes with the territory, said Konan. As Koyuki stopped right in front of a store that sold dresses. Since they live with ninja every day, they have accepted that they could be in danger at any moment. I guess so. Come on, said Koyuki. Wait, what? Said Konan. Koyuki didn't wait as she pulled Konan inside. As she spoke to the clerk, asked if she could see the dress at the storefront. When the store clerk asked what size, Koyuki glanced at Konan as she studied her body for a few seconds. After assuring that the dress would be right out, the clerk went around the back. Koyuki-sama? Asked Konan. You can just call me Yuki, since you and I are practically family. Yuki, said Konan. Much better, said Koyuki. The store clerk came out with a box in hand and handed it to Koyuki. Here you go, said Koyuki, as she placed the box in Konan's hand. Konan was confused as hell. Let's go to the dressing room so you can try them on. Wait, what? Asked Konan. But Koyuki just pushed her along. As Konan was confused, still asking what is going on, as she was pushed into one of the dressing rooms. Go ahead and get changed. I would like to see how you look in that, said Koyuki. As there were several moments of silence. I don't see why I have to change in this. Because you need more clothes to wear than your cloak. I have other clothes. I just prefer my cloak. Then we're shopping to cheer you up, said Koyuki. You're doing this to cheer me up? Of course. Naruto noticed right away that you weren't yourself. That is why he asked me to take care of you. And I figured we could do something to bond to bring your mood back. You don't even know what's bothering me, said Konan. Not yet, said Koyuki. Just you wait, we're going to have a blast. Enjoy some female bonding. And then you're going to unload all your problems on me so I can help you out. After all, it's a lot easier to talk to a girl about your problems instead of a guy, even if that guy is someone like Naruto. There was another pause as Koyuki said Konan was not really having girlfriends to share things with. So that was all the more reason to break down the walls surrounding her. They were going to be sister wives. It wouldn't be good if she kept everything to herself that was troubling her. Have you finished changing? Koyuki asked. Yeah, I have, but let me see then. As Koyuki pulled the curtain back, she then whistled. Whoa, you look good in that. The dress was simple, a black dress that stopped just above her knees. Small straps hung over her slender shoulders. It was tighter on her chest, making it look that it would spill out at any moment. But Koyuki felt like they added a sensual touch. She looked down and she frowned at the normal blue ninja sandals. We need to find you some new shoes. Koyuki spent 10 minutes finding a good pair of shoes that Konan could wear. She eventually stopped on a pair of simple red slip-ons. She wanted to go with something more exotic and sexy, but Konan was the type that wears something like that. But Konan just let Koyuki dress her up as she put up with her antics. So we got the dress, we got the shoes. As Konan was really embarrassed. Are we done yet? She asked. Done? What are you talking about? This is just the beginning. A horrified look came on Konan's face. What happened was a shopping extravaganza. as they went everywhere, taste some wonderful treats. They even went to toy stores and played. Even though the villagers went through something bad, every place was still open. The wreckage could be seen where everyone walked, but people still went about their business. As Konan started to smile and enjoy herself, as Koyuki counted as a victory on her part. She and Konan never really spoke that much because of their duties. She was a daimyo, and Konan was there to spy the Akatsuki, so that she could make Konan smile. She was happy by herself for doing that. As they bought a lot of clothes. As they went to a bar called the Rusty Kunai, where they went to grab a drink. So, you had fun? Asked Koyuki. Konan smiled slightly. I did, she said. I had no idea shopping could be so fun. Never underestimate the appeal for shopping, said Koyuki. Shopping is a woman's best friend. Whenever you're feeling down, you can just grab one of your girlfriends and ask them to go shopping with you. That will always make you feel better. Well, I don't really have any girlfriends, said Konan. You have me, said Koyuki, and I'm sure Yujito and Mei would be happy to become your friends as well. I suppose you're right, said Konan, as you remember the time when all of them met. There hadn't been many moments like that. As the waiter then came up with some sake and placed in the middle, and placed 2 saucers down. Koyuki poured some as she drank it. This isn't bad, she said. Well, it's nothing like Naruto Fire, brand sake, but it isn't bad. So, why don't you tell me what's eating you? Konan took several sips of her sake, as Koyuki waited patiently. As she then placed down the saucer, I just felt like I should have done more when we were attacked. So many people died. But they didn't have to. If I had taken a more proactive role, if I had done my job properly as Naruto informant and gathered more Zetsu, Konoha could have avoided a lot of casualties. Are you really gonna blame yourself for that? No one is perfect and no one expects perfection out of you. I'm not sure no one even blamed you for anything. Tsunade-sama does, said Konan. Are you sure you're not projecting your own sense of failure onto Tsunade? Koyuki asked. I don't really know everything, but Tsunade is not the woman to blame someone for not being perfect. And how do you know that? Konan asked. Because Naruto will never follow such a woman. Konan blinked a few times. You're right. As she looked down to her drink, I'm probably putting my feelings of guilt onto Tsunade-sama, she said. She drank another gulp of her sake, as her cheeks got red a bit. I've gone and done something foolish, haven't I? Just a bit foolish, said Koyuki. Koyuki grabbed the jug again and filled the both of them saucer. Now how about we drink and forget about our troubles? As Konan nodded, as the both of them started to drink even more. I think this is going to be the start of a beautiful friendship, said Koyuki, as she poured more sake into Konan's saucer. After his meeting with Tsunade, Naruto went to Training Ground 38. Several houses were built there. As these were Yamato work, he could see from the wood textures and the way they were built rapidly. As Yujito and Samui were in the thick of things, helping everyone get settled. As Naruto told Yujito everything that happened, and about the remaining survivors, and the smaller villages declaring war on them. As she told them that they couldn't house everyone, Yujito was sad to hear that, but Naruto told them that he was going to speak to Koyuki, and Tsunade will send letters to Mei and Gaara. That sounded like a plan, she said, but it would be hard to keep everyone in connection. Naruto lowered his head as he went silent for a few seconds. He then raised his head. I'm going to make Harishin pads, he said. She looked at him with that expression to say what the hell? He shook his head with a smile. I'm just thinking out loud. There may be a way to keep everyone in connection, even if they live in different nations. It's gonna take a while, but I'll make it happen. She continued to stare at him before smiling. Well then, let me know when you have it figured out, she said. Will do, he said. As she went off to help the rest of the people as he went to his estate. Walking through the village, he smiled and waved at the people who greeted him with smiles on their faces. As he arrived, he saw 2 pairs of shoes already there, a pair of shinobi sandals and high heels. They probably belonged to Koyuki and Konan, as he wondered if their talk went well. As he went to go and find them, but there were no trace of them. As he then heard sounds going up towards his bedroom, Naruto slowly opened the door as he was shocked to what he saw. The both of them were on the bed, kissing, as the both of them were just in their underwear. As Naruto felt his pants tighten a lot, before taking a breath. What are you two doing? He said. The pair did not stop kissing, they just turned towards him, as he saw both of their cheeks were flushing red. Oh, Naruto-kun, we were waiting for you to get back. But we couldn't wait. Come on, join us, said Koyuki. Naruto thought this in a logical matter. They have been waiting for him, but they got too hot and flustered to wait. So they started to play with each other. So that meant they had planned on tackling him together, or just waiting for him to get home. He then smelled. "You two are drunk," he said, as he could smell the alcohol from here. "Yes, very drunk," said Koyuki. "Now, get over here." The rational part of his mind was telling him that they were drunk, so he shouldn't do anything. But the teenager part of his mind was telling him to go for it. They were his girlfriends after all, and they were waiting on him, but they just couldn't wait anymore. So, the teenage part took over, as he quickly slipped out of his clothes, left down his boxers, as he went over. As Naruto was about to jump into things, but Koyuki pushed him over to the other side of the bed. "Wait," she said, "let me prepare her for you." As Naruto watched as she went down on Konan, as he stood there, he could only smile as he thanked God that he did not pass up the situation. But before anything could escalate, Konan fell over as she passed out. "She's out cold," said Naruto. "Well, I guess she's not used to drinking," said Koyuki. As Koyuki checked her, "Yeah, she's out cold. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun," she said, as she turned towards Naruto, as she jumped on him. A week later, everything went well as Mei, Koyuki, and Gaara agreed to the proposition. As they split, the civilians and the ninjas, 500 each, so that it wouldn't put a strain on the other nations. The entire entourage has been chosen. Naruto, Kakashi, Jiraiya, and Guy were traveling as Navi entourage. However, Koyuki, Yujito, and Konan was coming along as well. Yujito was going as a representative of Kumo. She was the strongest shinobi in the ranks now, so it was only natural. Konan was added in at the last minute to act as Koyuki's bodyguard, as Naruto thought that Konan was just coming along so Koyuki could have more fun. Seeing that from when Naruto spent time with Yujito, the two had spent a lot of time together over the past week, as Naruto was certain that Koyuki has been getting Konan drunk and sleeping with her when he wasn't around. Several times he discovered the both of them exiting the same room together, hungover, and also taking baths together. He did think it was nice that the both of them were getting along so well. At the same time, it kind of seemed weird to him, but he wouldn't judge them for it. The journey to the Land of Iron took 5 days. The Land of Iron was a neutral nation, and they invited the Tissue Kage, seeing that this war affects everyone. "It's pretty cool, isn't it?" Yujito asked, as she walked on Naruto's left. Koyuki and Konan was walking on the other side. Behind them was Guy and Kakashi, and up ahead was Navi and Jiraiya. "This is the Land of Iron," said Koyuki. "They're well known for their icy climate." That said, she shivered a bit. This temperature reminded me of how the Land of Snow used to be, before we discovered my father's heat generators. "Was it this cold?" Naruto said. "I honestly don't remember." "Stop talking," she said. "Are you trying to mock us or something by wearing that?" As Naruto looked down his attire, black long sleeve shirt with orange trim, black pants, a white Hiyori with more orange trim, and the Uzumaki symbol in the back. As a Jinchuriki, I don't really feel the cold anymore. Yujito is also wearing her normal attire as well. Well, once a Jinchuriki mastered their Bijuu chakra to certainly agree. Elements like cold no longer affect them, said Yujito. "There you go," said Naruto. "Is it just me, or is Naruto getting cocky because he has a bunch of beautiful women around him?" said Kakashi. "What are you talking about?" my eternal rival Guy asked. "Oh, nothing," said Kakashi. "You know I can hear you right, Sensei," Naruto asked. "Oh, can you?" Kakashi said. "How surprising," in a sarcastic tone. "Hey, people, we're not on a vacation, you know that. Stay alert," said Tsunade. As when they got there, they were led inside by the samurais. "So, who are those people?" Naruto asked. "Well, I'm not surprised you haven't been here before," said Jiraiya. "Those are a group of iron samurais, a group of swordsmen so fearsome that the other nations decided to leave them alone. Trust me, you don't want to get on their bad side." Naruto didn't really know anything about them, but he heard rumors about their strength. It was thanks to the samurai they have maintained their neutrality between the other nations for so long. But he wondered how long will they be able to keep it, as a grim thought followed him all the way to the meeting place. As the group came up to the leader of the samurais, "Welcome, Tsunade Senju." "Jiraiya of the Leaf," the man said. "Mifune," said Jiraiya with a grin. "It's been a long time. You've aged well." "Time tests us all," said Mifune as he looked at Jiraiya's missing arm. "I see that you have faced your hardships." Some stuff happened," Jiraiya said with a shrug, as if losing the arm was no big deal. "It's not like losing the arm means that I've lost my strength. I'm still as powerful as I've ever been." "Is that so? I'm pleased to hear that." Allow me to show you to the meeting room. As Mifune turned and walked off, as Navi turned to Kakashi and Guy. You two, patrol the samurais, don't get in their ways. But, try to be supportive of their efforts while considering your own. As the both of them nodded, yes Hokage-sama. As Naruto, Yujito, Koyoke, and Konan follows Navi and Jiraiya to the meeting place. As the meeting took place on top floor, as they went up a lot of stairs. Arriving, they saw Gaara, as Temari and Kankuro sit with him. Gaara, Naruto said, walking up to Gaara without any ceremonial greeting. It's good to see you, Naruto, said Gaara. I heard what happened at Konoha. He then looked over at Yujito as well. You both have my sympathies. If I had known what was happening, you would have had my shinobi's help. I know, Naruto said. Thanks for that. His eyes then brightened. So how have you been? How is the Kage life treating you? It has been difficult, Gaara said. But that has more to do with the current state the elemental nation is in. Despite the hard time that we have been facing, I have been enjoying life. Matsuri is going to have a kid soon. Wait, Matsuri? Who's the girl that had been one of your tuning? Is she you're talking about? Naruto asked. That's right, said Gaara. So she's having a kid, Naruto said confused. So who's the father? I am. Wait, what? Naruto looked at Gaara with a blank face. You're going to be a father? You seem shocked, Gaara said. Because I didn't hear anything about this, Naruto said. Does this mean you're also married? Wait, why wasn't I invited to the wedding, Naruto said. I didn't even get to give you a wedding prank. There hasn't been a wedding yet, Gaara said. Matsuri and I have been engaged for 3 months now. Wedding preparations were on their way, but given the current crisis that we're facing, we decided to hold off on actually having the wedding yet. And I was actually hoping that you'd be my best man. Really? Naruto said. Yes, Gaara said. As Naruto smiled, I thought I was going to be your best man, said Kankuro, as the two of them looked over. Kankuro, your makeup is so thick, people mistake you for the bride, said Temari as she chuckled a bit. Exactly, Naruto said. Best man, not best man in makeup. You people keep insulting my war paint. How many times do I have to tell you this? I don't wear makeup. It's war paint. As the others took their seat as Naruto and Temari teased Kankuro. As Yujito took the seat where the Raikage would have been if he was still alive. Minutes passed and two other groups enter. The first one Naruto noticed was the Kage, that short man with his large nose. Since the incident with Koyoke and Onedo, the place has been, well, the hidden stone has been quite silent. Well, that was a good thing for Naruto, seeing that he was wary of them, knowing about his status and all, and who his father was. Two people were with him. Naruto recognized one of them as Kurosaki, the Kage granddaughter. Short black hair, purple eyes, as she wore the standard Jonin uniform from the hidden stone. She also saw Naruto, unlike Kage, who remained cool, her face pale as she looked at him. The another person was Lord Akamichi, as he was Akasaki. As the Kage sat down, Kurosaki and Akasaki stood on either side of him. Knowing that he needed to play his role, Naruto bid goodbye to his siblings and Gaara, as Gaara told him that he will tell him when the wedding is going to happen. Arriving after the Kage was Mei Terumi, Kojiro, and Ayo, as she smiled at Naruto and Yujito. As Mifune then got their attention. Hats off everyone, he said. As Oniki and Mei did so, when they set their hats on the table, Mifune continued. In response to the 5th Hokage request, the other Kages have assembled here. I am Mifune and I'll be your moderator. The Kage Summit is officially called to order, he said. Those who were not a part of the meeting were sent away, the bodyguards, immediately. They went up to the top platform, but they could still see everything. As Naruto did not know where Jiraiya go, but he knew that he was somewhere. He was probably using one of his toads ninjutsu to hide or something. So, why did you call this meeting, Hokage? Oniki asked. I'm sure everyone knows this already, but Kumo is gone, said Snavi. It was destroyed by a man known as Pain. Within Rinnegan was by himself able to destroy an entire village. Pain has managed to link all of the minor villages together to wage war against the major villages. Huh? I don't see what's so grave about this. So one of the 5 great villages has been wiped out. It just means that they let themselves become lax in the growing years of peace. And who care the minor villages has waged war? They are weak. They do not have the strength to fight against none of us. I believe you're seriously underestimating what the minor village can do if they band together, Gaara said. Oh, do tell me, Kazekage. What can a group of small nations do, said Oniki. As Gaara remained cool, there are 5 times the number of minor nations than major nations. We only have 4 now that Kumo is gone. While individually they are small and can't do much, If they come together, they have a rather large supportive army. Once more, they surround the major nations, cutting us off from each other. It's easy for them to steal and disrupt trading between us. I don't see what's so important, said Oniki. The Hidden Stone does not trade with any other nation, he said. Your village might not, but your nation does, said May. The Land of Earth and Land of Water have a trading contract for silkworms. Since the minor villages has gone to war, we can't afford to trade anymore. Do you think the Kage truly believe what he's saying? Asked Conan. It's hard to say, Naruto said. I don't really know anything about the man. Perhaps he made a deal with pain. Or perhaps he really thinks that he can crush anyone that tried to attack him. I don't really know, Naruto said. Perhaps it's a mixture of both, said a voice. Both Conan and Naruto spin around. Whoa, said Jiraiya. There's no need to get violent, he said. Naruto sighed, saying, you shouldn't sneak up like that. Jiraiya simply laughed their words off. In any case, I know Onki a lot better than either of you. He's a stubborn old goat that is set in his ways, but at the same time, he will not do anything to harm his village. If he's not agreeing with Snappy, then there's a reason for it. As Naruto turned and looked back at Oniki, who was arguing with the other three, in fact the man looked even more irritable than before. Regardless of what any of you think, the threat of minor nations do not scare us, said Oniki. And what will happen when your country is attacked, Gara asked. You might think this doesn't concern you, but Pain has threatened war on all of us. He has the power to wipe out the entire Hidden village on his own. Now that he has so many nations aligned with him, you think you can stand against him by yourself? Of course we can't, said Oniki. Kumo might have been weak enough to be destroyed, but my village isn't so pathetic. How dare you? Yujito's voice was nothing above a whisper, but everyone heard it. He could not see her face, but he could see her shoulders shaking. You know nothing of Kumo, she said as she glared at Oniki. Kumo was the most militarized in all 5 great nations. While Konoha was preaching peace, we were gathering and training our shinobis. While Kiri was in the middle of a civil war, we were trying to increase our power. We had trained our shinobis. We had trained them to fight in a war, while every others were trying to make peace. It wasn't because Kumo was weak. It's because Pain was that powerful. You are simply being ignorant because you haven't seen that power for yourself. Are you done? Said Oniki. If that's so, we're leaving. What? Said Snazzy. I said we're leaving, Oniki said, as he grabbed his Kage hat. It has become clear to me that this meeting is a waste of my time. I can't believe I left my village for this. Without even giving him a glance, he left. Well, said Mee, crossing her arms. That was incredibly rude. True, said Gara, but now that he's gone, perhaps we can have a civilized discussion. I was hoping to have the 4 great villages unite on this, said Snazzy, but I guess it can't be helped. Does this mean you plan on continuing the summit, even though one of the Kages has left? Asked Mifune. Snazzy looked at all of them, including Yujito. As they all nodded, we do. Very well, this will continue after a short break. Given the high tensions, to go. Since they didn't need to hide anymore, all of them jumped down. All of this excitement has made me stiff, May said. I think I'll take a walk. In that case, I will go with you, said Ayo. No need, said May. She walked over and grabbed Yujito by the arm. As she then walked over and grabbed Naruto by the arm. I have 2 perfectly ill bodyguards with me. As no one could say anything as she dragged them out of the room with her. I sense a threesome in our future, Naruto thought. But he couldn't complain. But guys, will be in this episode right here. You guys can go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was Raised by the Hyuga clan, and enjoy that, guys. And later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was Born in the Uzumaki clan, so stay tuned for that as well. But for now, peace.